I have not done a recording in months. I think the last one I did was June 28th, so 3 months. The reason why I haven't done any other recordings is because at the end of June and the beginning of July, I ended up hospitalized. Not for complications from the sleeve surgery, but because I got diagnosed with Guillain Barre Syndrome. So it was a lovely 3 weeks in the hospital between being on the 10th floor, on the neurological floor and the stroke floor, to 2 weeks in rehab with physical and occupational therapy happening 3 hours a day, every day. I didn't expect to get something other than being able to eat again after my sleeve surgery, but apparently there was something else in mind. Many people have asked me how I ended up with Guillain Barre Syndrome. Nobody could really agree. However, I strongly think, I believe that it was a combination of having my sleeve surgery on April 12th and getting my second COVID vaccine, Pfizer, on April 20th that triggered it. Initially, what the doctors were saying was that it was too long of a time between the time I got my vaccine to the time I was in the hospital to be diagnosed with Guillain-Barré. But I think as I've looked back on some of the videos I had done during that time frame, I can see where I was starting to have trouble swallowing, which I had been complaining about to my doctor, thinking that it was part of the sleeve surgery. But in actuality, it was Guillain-Barré syndrome starting. So I recently saw something from the CDC that said it was like onset within 42 days of the vaccine, and my symptoms definitely started within there. So my guess is that even though they're not coming straight out and saying it, that the combination of those two things probably put me into Guillain-Barré. Triggered Guillain-Barré. I've been struggling. I thought I was struggling so hard, so badly with the sleeve surgery and I was just watching some of the videos from that time frame, and I was in so much pain. Boy, did I not know what was coming. When Guillain-Barré struck me, nobody really knew what it was initially. I got misdiagnosed a couple times. Then I started falling. And then I had the good sense to follow up with my doctor and finally give him the whole story. Big thunderstorm now. And he thought this is a neurological issue, and fortunately got me a neurologist who just happened to have an appointment the next day, which was July 8th. And from there, I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, and I was sent to the emergency room to be admitted to Danbury Hospital, where I received my 5 days of IVIG infusion, which did not help me other than to stop the nerve damage. So I guess it probably helped me. I live every day in pain right now, 24/7. It's been very frustrating. Again, I thought the sleeve surgery recovery was difficult. Boy, be careful what you wish for. On the sleeve surgery, I will say that I have been able to resume food. My taste buds are pretty much back. There are still some foods that I no longer like that are surprising to me. For example, coffee, which I loved. I have zero interest in it. I've tried it I've tried it a bunch of different ways, and it just doesn't work for me anymore. Things like that, different yogurt flavors don't work anymore. I'm getting better at getting my fluids in. I'm drinking a lot of water again. Not as much as they wanted, but because of my current height and weight, I don't need as much as they had originally told me, so that's been very helpful. As of today, I have lost 63.5 pounds, possibly more. I weigh myself with clothes on, and I don't subtract for that. I am at the smallest I have ever been in my entire adult life. I'm now wearing smalls. This is a small, and it's a little bit big. You see this room? My sister just gave me this. This is a small. So that's been the most shocking thing, the size difference being this tiny. I don't recognize myself at all. I look totally different. And what's fascinating is a lot of people aren't calling it all out. And I think it's probably because they think I'm just sick because of Guillain Barre. So they're probably thinking, oh, she's lost all this weight because of Guillain Barre, because I didn't go public with my sleeve surgery yet. But I will. I've started to hint at it in terms of the fact that I had surgery, not telling anybody what it is. And if I'm with somebody, straight out, I do tell them that I had sleeve surgery. The positive is that I'm considered 100% of a success story with sleeve surgery. So even though I struggled, I'm in a normal weight range for my height and age now. Never happened in my adult life. Not even when I got to my lowest points on different diets was I ever this low or this small. So there have been successes from that perspective, as well as really tough times dealing with Guillain Barre and my loss of independence and my inability to drive and the fact that my hands are killing me and my feet are killing me, and no matter what medication they've tried, there's really not a lot of relief. So that's tough. And my neurologist told me last week that I was looking at a year to a year and a half of recovery time. But I've joined a couple of Guillain Barre Facebook groups, and throughout those commentaries, there are people who have been suffering from Guillain Barre for a really long time and never quite get better. I'm really hopeful that I'm one of those people who gets better and makes this a blip in my memory, just like my sleeve surgery was. So it's September 28th. I'm approaching 6 months post sleeve surgery. I'm approaching 2 months post hospital discharge. And here I am, still fighting, still losing weight, still eating small portions, eating better portions, eating different foods, working out with a physical therapist 3 days a week. Improvements. Sorta.